I'm 7. Okay.
What'd you say?
Yeah. Talk, Rabbi, go.
Okay, how's this? Is that all right?
Raise me up a little bit, please.
Is that all right? Okay.
I think I'm 8. I don't know if I'm going up.
Yes. Can you hear me? How's it?
Testing 1, 2,
Okay.
3. I'm not loud enough. I know. Shai, shoot me up a little bit. What number am I, Nick? Am I 8? Okay, good. Very good. Now I'm real loud.
Nanny?
Okay. Yeah, we're good.
Oh, boy.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's really loud.
No.
That is way loud.
No, because of this. This, because of this. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Well, good Yontif. Yes, we are beginning now. This is peculiar, and it's also familiar. Those two words come to mind when I think about tonight's service. It's peculiar in as much as we have almost an empty sanctuary here. And yet there are hundreds of people all over South Florida, people in Northeast United States, in the Midwest, and various places in Canada, watching right now online. It is peculiar. It is strange. None of us have experienced anything quite like this before. You know, I took my mask off. And the few people, so I could speak to you. But notice we're all, there's just a handful of people who are going to help the cantor and me tonight do the service. I can only think of one person in our congregation who did experience something like this. Sari Schulman, who's 103 years old. I believe she's our oldest congregant.
Yeah.
She is our oldest congregant. She was just a small child during the Spanish flu epidemic. And you know what she said? She said, Rabbi, we'll get through this one too. So there's experience for you. Now, I said this is familiar. It's familiar because in a little bit, in the next hour or so, during the next hour or so, we are going to be doing prayers, we're going to be doing songs that our ancestors have done for literally hundreds and hundreds of years, in some cases thousands of years. And there's something so familiar. The COVID-19 virus has not prevented us getting together for Rosh Hashanah. Now, we are together. We may not be in each other's physical presence, but we are together. Anytime we extend our love to each other, even if it's through a screen, even if it's on the telephone, we are together. You know what I want you all to do? I want you all to take your hand and put it on your heart. Put your hand on your heart. Can you feel your heart beating? Just see if you can find your heart beating. Yes, there is love and life coursing through your very being. And you know what? When Jews come together to celebrate, to observe their tradition together, our hearts are one. Tonight, we are together in a very real way. Tonight, our hearts beat as one. The Jewish people is one tonight. One God, one Torah. And we are one heart. There's a oneness of hearts that we experience tonight. Now, Cantor, would you be so kind as to lead us in a nigun, just to put us in a prayerful mood?
Okay, I'm going to sing the melody that is traditionally sung on Rosh Hashanah, Erev Rosh Hashanah, tonight. So you'll hear this throughout tonight's service. Everyone can join with me. Come on. Numerous sets of our machzorim, our high holiday prayer books. We delivered them. People came and picked them up. So if you have your machzor, your Mishkan HaNefesh with you at home, turn to page 5 and Ed Robbins will lead us in the reading at the bottom of that page.
Your book of life doesn't begin today, on Rosh Hashanah. It began when you were born. Some of the chapters were written by other people, your parents, siblings, and teachers. Parts of your book were crafted out of experiences you had because of other people's decisions, where you lived, what schools you went to, what your homes were like. But the message of Rosh Hashanah, the anniversary of the creation of the world, is that everything can be made anew again. That much of your book is written every day by the choices you make. The book is not written and sealed. You get to edit it, decide what parts you want to emphasize and remember, and maybe even which parts you want to leave behind. Shana Tova means both a good year and a good change. Today, you can change the rest of your life. It's never too late.
Wow.
Very nice. Ed is a member of our board, and directly behind me is the president of our congregation, Scott Singer, and on the other side of the bima, beside Ed, is Alex Levy, the president of the Temple Beth El Brotherhood. We continue with the blessing over the Yom Tov candles, actually Yom Tov and Shabbat candles, because it is Shabbos after all, page 11, and Cantor Manny's wife, Ginger, will lead us in the blessing on that page. Page 11.
The first mitzvah in the Torah is, let there be light. So we are commanded, in everything you do, be a menorah, a bringer of light. Live with honor, act with integrity, do your work with passion, and the radiance of your deeds will live after you. May our ideals burn bright, forever unextinguished, and may we live our lives like the flames we kindle, always stretching upward, striving for the good, reaching for you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotah, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov. Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, teaching us holiness through sacred obligations, giving us the mitzvah of bringing light on Shabbat and this festival. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehekiyanu v'kimanu
Amen.
Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, giving us life, upholding the life within us, and bringing us to this time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Asher kedushan v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov.
And we
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehekiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh.
And we continue with the Kiddush for Shabbat and Yom Tov. That can be found on page 79. Thus there was evening, and then there was morning. The sixth day completed now were the heavens and the earth and their whole array. And on the seventh day God completed the work that had been done. And God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and called it holy, for on it God ceased from all the work of creating that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam b'harei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'am v'romamanu mikol hashon v'kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav. V'tihiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu v'yahava et yom HaShabbat hazeh v'et yom HaZikaron hazeh yom zikaron teruah v'yahava mikra kodesh zeheker letziat Mitzrayim kihivanu v'hakarta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim kihivanu v'hakarta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim. Devarka emet v'kayam la'ad. Baruch atah Adonai melech hakol haaretz mikadesh Yisrael. Melech hakol haaretz mikadesh Yisrael. Melech hakol haaretz mikadesh HaShabbat Yisrael v'yom HaZikaron. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehekiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Amen.
Please be seated. We continue on page 14 with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barkuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei amlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei amlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We continue with the Hineni on page 17. This is where the cantor asks for God's blessing as he will be leading our congregation in prayer during these high holidays. This is where the cantor asks to be worthy and to be worthy enough to lead our congregation in prayer. We rise.
Hineni E'ani mimahas V'nirash v'nirefachad mipachad Yoshev tehilot Yisrael Bahati Lamod lechanei lefanecha Alamka Yisrael Asher Shelakuni Ve'af al pi Sheni Kedai Ve'hagun Lechach Al Kein Avakesheka Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Adonai, Adonai, El Rakum V'Kanun, Elohim, Shaddai, Hayom ben Ora, Eyen matzliach darki, Asher anochi holech, Lahamod levakesh, Rakamim, Rakamim alai, Vial sholkai, Yata shomea, Tefilat amka Yisrael, Berakamim Baruch Atah Shomea Tefillah. Here I am, so poor in deeds, I tremble in fear, overwhelmed and apprehensive, before you to whom Israel sings praise. Although unworthy, I rise to pray and seek favor for your people Israel, for they have entrusted me with this task. Therefore, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, Adonai, Adonai, merciful, gracious God, who inspires awe, I pray to you for success on my path. I pray for myself and my community. Do not hold them responsible for my wrongs and offenses. May my deeds cause them no shame, and may their deeds cause me no shame. Accept my prayer as though it were offered by one more worthy of this task, a scholar, proficient in prayer, unblemished in character, pleasing in voice. Let love be our banner. Let it banish our wrongs. May Israel's strife and misfortunes be turned into joy, renewed life and peace, love, peace, and truth. May they prevail among us, and may there be no impediment to my prayer. Adonai, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, great, mighty, awe-inspiring, God Most High, who said to Moses, I will be what I will be. May it be your will that my prayer reach your presence for the sake of the righteous and blameless, the honest and pure of heart. For the sake of your glory, you hear your people's prayer with compassion. Blessed are you, the one who hears prayer.
Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Yehi ratzon v'niskeh liv rochotecha, b'shnat 5,081. Elohei olam barech otanu ve'et kol Beit Yisrael b'chidush yamenu, b'simcha u'v'shalom, b'nechama u'v'ometz lev, b'chilutz atzamot u'v'ruach etana. Yehi prizvatenu mekubal v'ratzui melefanecha. Befros Hashanah hachadasha la'ad modim anachnu lach al matnat hayim. Our God and God of our ancestors, may we know your blessings in the year 5,781. Eternal One, bless us and the whole house of Israel with renewed life, happiness and peace, comfort and courage, resilience and strength. May the words of our hearts be acceptable to you. In the year that stretches before us, we are forever grateful for the gift of life. We continue with the Baruch Hu on page 20.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam vaed.
Please be seated.
Umavir yom mefi laila, umavdir beinu mefi laila, Adonai tzvahot shemo, El Chai v'kayam, tamidim lo kolenu le'olam vahed, Baruch atah Adonai. Chayenu v'yorech yameinu uvahem negeh yomam v'alayla ve'avadcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai
Continue on page 24 as Alex Levy leads us in that reading.
Love beyond all space and time. Your love enfolds your people, Yisrael. We receive it in your teachings. Your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. So let us speak of these teachings when we lie down and rise up, and find joy forever in your Torah and Mitzvot. They are the very essence of our life, ours to ponder and study all our days. May we never lose or be unworthy of your love.
We rise for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated. We continue with the Ahavta.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, B'kol avavcha u'b'kol nafshecha u'b'kol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anoki mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha Uvlektecha v'derech, uvshokbecha uvkumecha, uvshartam lehot al yadecha, v'yulekotafot bein einecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvishe'arecha.
And now Ed Robbins will read the passage at the top of page 29.
If indeed you obey my commandments, which I instruct you this day, loving Adonai your God and serving God with all your heart and soul, I will grant rain for your land in season, the early rain and the late. And you will gather in your new grain and wine and oil. And I will provide grassland for your cattle. Thus you will eat and be satisfied. Be careful not to be lured away to serve other gods, bowing down to them. For then the anger of Adonai will flare up against you, and God will hold back the skies so that there will be no rain, and the ground will not yield its crops, and you will soon perish from the good land that Adonai is giving you. Therefore place these, my words, upon your heart and upon your very being. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be a symbol before your eyes. Teach them to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, so that your days and the days of your children may increase upon the land that Adonai swore to give to your ancestors for as long as the heavens are over the earth.
We continue on page 30.
Leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Eloheikem ani Adonai Eloheikem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiyot lakem le'Elohim ani Adonai Eloheikem.
And now on page 34, we continue with Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora te'ilo osei fele, maktecha ruvanecha, bokei hayam livnei Moshe Miriam, zeli anu v'yamru, Adonai yimloch le'olam vahed v'nemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov gi'alo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
And Alex Levy will lead us on page 36.
Bless our sleep with peace, Adonai, and awaken us to life when we rise. With power sublime, spread over us your shelter of shalom, and through your wisdom restore us, make us whole. Let your name proclaim your presence in our lives. Be our shield. Make us stronger than the enemies we face, illness and war, famine and sorrow, and stronger than the enemies in our hearts, wickedness and sin. Carry us to safety as on wings, for you are the monarch of grace, the sovereign of compassion. You are the one who cares for us and sets us free. Watch over us, we who go forth to life. Watch over us, that we may come home in peace, now until the end of time.
Vishamru on page 38.
Tonight I'd like to sing a melody that you probably never heard before. And it's a melody that was written by my mentor, one of the greatest cantors in the world, whom I studied with for 20 years, Cantor Moshe Sholhoff. And I always feel that he's with me when I sing the prayers, especially on this holiday. And this is a beautiful melody. He was not only a great cantor, he was also a rabbi, he was a composer, and he was a wonderful, wonderful man. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 40.
יתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי בקייקון וביומקון וקיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיא יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר בתרומה ונשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריקו לעילה ולעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונקמתה תמירן בימה באמרו אמן.
And now I call on the president of our congregation, Scott Singer, to extend to you all a special Yontif blessing.
Excuse me while I take off my mask. A little bit odd on Erev Rosh Hashanah. Coming here for so many years, we always look at the number of people who are coming in on Erev Rosh Hashanah, and we try to calculate, is it going to be a good service as far as number of people coming? And I'm looking out here and I see, this is the thing that we sort of feared, but because of COVID-19, we understand this. So let me just say Shabbat Shalom. As you know, COVID-19 has changed a number of things we normally do. For example, my wife and I, we joined Temple Bethel about 19 years ago. And during those 19 years, for Erev Rosh Hashanah, Michelle would always take the kids up to Boca to be with her brother for dinner, for Erev Rosh Hashanah dinner. I wouldn't be able to make it because I would go to Erev Rosh Hashanah services. So for those past 19 years, I've been eating dinner by myself. But because of COVID-19, I got to eat dinner with my wife, my daughter, and my mother-in-law for the first time in those 19 years. So it was pretty good. I'm not saying it was great, but it was pretty good. Also, as we all know that at Temple Bethel, as a congregation, we are a Reformed congregation. But as I look out tonight, things are a little bit different. There's a separation here. The men are up here on the bima, and I see Sharon and Dee and Ginger separated from the men out here. So I don't know if COVID-19 is now making us a little orthodox, but it is what it is. Anyway, just getting seriously here in regards to COVID-19, as we continue to follow health guidelines and pray for recovery of those infected, here are some encouraging things we've learned from this global crisis. Our shared humanity. The virus is blind to cultural and ideological differences, infecting people of all races, religion, and ages. In many ways, the world has become more united, sharing the same vulnerability. Our sages say that actually this happens once a year on Rosh Hashanah, when all people of the world pass God in judgment. So it reminds us that despite our differences, we are humanity under God. The power of caring. Scientists are still examining this new disease, but it's clear that it spreads through close contact. But we also must not forget that love also spreads person to person, even at a 6-foot distance. Valuing freedom. Being restricted and isolated presents a unique set of challenges, but it also reminds us of the gift of freedom. Freedom as a state of mind to be pursued regularly whenever we find ourselves. And, as Dodi told me, don't forget to go out and vote. Prioritizing essentials. Amazon announced that it will prioritize delivering essential household items because of high demand. Regardless of how you define essential, the outbreak has led us to reevaluate our priorities. Moses told livestock owners, make the main thing, and what's secondary, secondary. It's amazing what you could find on Google these days. The sanctity of life. Throughout history, our synagogue doors have been kept open against forces of anti-Semitism and through many challenges, for example, hurricanes. Now those doors are closed to save lives. The Torah instructs, you shall keep my statutes and my ordinances, which a person shall do and live by them, which in a way means in all circumstances, one person must take care of not to die as a result of fulfilling the mitzvah. The sanctity of life is paramount. Then we have the preciousness. The heartbreak and growing death toll of the virus reminds us of our mortality. As King David said, man is like a breath. His days are like a passing shadow. And just as the shadow quickly fades, so do our lives. We are reminded to cherish our moments and infuse them with meaning and purpose. I look forward to the day we will all be able to meet together in person, to not only see each other, but to participate together in prayer. Hashanah Tova.
Oh, beautiful. Give me an elbow. We continue on page 44 as we rise for the tefillah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el, Hagadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel, Chasadim, Tovim, V'konei Hakol v'zocher, Chazdei Avot v'ima'ot, Umevi Gula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an Shmo, B'ahava. Zakrenu lekayim, melav chafetz bakayim, v'katvenu b'sefer hakayim, v'katvenu b'sefer hakayim, lemanka Elohim kayim, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor, Leolam Adonai, Mekayem Eitim, Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mekalkel Kayim, Bekesed, Mechayei Meitim Berakamim Rabim Somek Noflim Berofech Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamoka Gevurot umidomelak melek meimit umakaye umatzmiach Yeshua. Mikamoka El Harakamim Zoker Yitzura L'chaim Berakamim Mikamoka V'ne'emanat halakayot meitim Baruch Atah Adonai Mekayei Hameitim.
Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelu chatzela. You are holy, your name is holy, Seekers of holiness praise you day by day. Selah. Please be seated. And so, in your holiness, give the righteous the gift of a vision bright with joy, a world where evil has no voice and the rule of malevolence fades like wisps of smoke. Good people everywhere will celebrate the stunning sight of arrogance gone from the earth. We continue on page 52. You and you alone, Adonai, will reign over creation upon Mount Zion, home of your presence, and in Jerusalem, the city set apart by you. As the psalmist believed, Adonai will reign eternally. Your God, Zion, for all generations. Hallelujah.
Kadosh atah v'norah shemecha v'yein Eloi mibaladatecha kakatuv v'yikbar Adonai tzvaot b'mishpat v'ayel HaKadosh nikadesh b'tzedakah ata v'kartanu mikol ha'amim ahavta otanu v'ratzita banu v'romamtanu mikol halashonot v'kedashtanu b'mitzvotecha v'kerovtanu malkeinu la'avodatecha v'shimcha hagado v'hakadosh aleinu karata.
We continue with the Ya'aleh v'Yavo on page 54.
Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Ya'aleh v'Yavo v'Yagia v'Yira'eh v'Yiratzeh v'Yishma v'Yipaked v'Yizacher zikronenu u'viktonenu v'zikron avotenu v'imotenu v'zikron Yerushalayim ir kodsheka v'zikron kolam kabed Yisrael lefaneka lefleitza letova lekeinu lekesed u'lerakamim lekayim u'leshalom b'yom hazikaron hazeh zakreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova.
Amen.
Ufagdeinu bo livraka.
Amen.
Voshiyeinu bo lekayim.
Amen. May we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and for peace on this day of remembrance. Eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
Be mindful of us.
Amen.
And redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing.
Amen.
Amen. We continue on page 59, and Ed will lead us in that reading.
Help me to serve you truly, with purity of heart. When I hear hateful or degrading speech, let me focus on good words and worthy thoughts. When my worst instincts cause me torment, teach me to care for myself and for others in rough waters and misfortune. Let me harbor patience and strength. Make my soul a sanctuary, that your light may dwell within me. Align all my acts in pursuit of goodness, so may I be a vessel of holiness, serving you with purity and truth.
And now on page 60. Eternal our God, your people Israel yearns for your favor. Receive their prayer with loving acceptance. And may you always desire your people's worship, Divine One, close to all who call upon you. Bring your grace and presence near to those who serve you. Pour forth your Spirit on us, and may our eyes see your merciful return to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai machazir shchinato letzion. Blessed are you whose divine presence is felt again in Zion. And Alex will lead us on page 65.
After a long illness, I was permitted for the first time to step outdoors. And as I crossed the threshold, sunlight greeted me. So long as I live, I shall never forget that moment. And everywhere in the firmament above me, in the great vault between the earth and the sky, on the pavements, the buildings, the golden glow of sunlight. It touched me, too, with friendship, with warmth, with blessing. And I remember how often I had been indifferent to the sunlight, how often preoccupied with petty, sometimes mean concerns, I had disregarded it. And I said to myself, how precious is the sunlight, but alas, how careless of it are we.
We continue with Shalom Rav on page 66.
Tonight I'd like to sing a special melody I sing sometimes. This was written by my wife Ginger and given a beautiful Spanish style arrangement by our wonderful accompanist Richie. And maybe this prayer for peace harkens back to the golden age of Spain, where the Jews had a wonderful time there for many centuries. And they lived in peace with the Muslims. And then it all ended with the Spanish Inquisition. But things were good at one time. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lekol HaShalom Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lekol HaShalom V'tov Be'enecha Levarek et Amcha Yisrael B'kol eit u'v'kol sha'ah Bishlomecha Shalom Rava Yisrael Ahamcha Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lekol HaShalom Lekol HaShalom Lekol HaShalom.
And we remember those who are in need of healing on this Shabbat, this Yom Tov. We turn to the Misha Berach on page 245.
I'd like to say a few names, Rabbi, if I may. Some people contacted me, and they sent me messages. Could I say a few names? So I said I would. So we're going to say our prayer tonight for Rochelle Stone, Leslie Glatzer, Stacy Gifford, Bernie Besserman, and Dan O'Brien. Anyone else have any names here?
Michael Friedman and Marie Diamond.
What's the name? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Misha Berach, a prayer for healing. Misha Berach Avoteinu Kol Habracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor abrakam laim volavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We had a decision to make regarding our high holiday services this year. There was no question that we were going to be online, but the question was, were we going to pre-record our services, or whether we would do them live. We decided to do them live, which is a little scary on our part because we don't get a do-over, but we thought there was something more vibrant about us actually being in the sanctuary, in your spiritual home on this night. Even though you can't be here, we want you to feel as if you were here, because we are here. Now, we like to honor our congregants at this season. We call people up for honors, to open up the ark and to do readings. We've had to curtail that to a great extent this year. But nonetheless, we're going to do some of those honors sort of in absentia, We're going to call out your name. You're at home right now. And during this high holiday period, we will be calling out just about, I think, everyone's name in the congregation for an honor. And so it is our custom to open the ark when we do the Avinu Malkeinu, and that beautiful, beautiful melody that we sing on the high holidays. So, we will be opening up the ark doors in honor of the following people this evening: Anne Abulafia, Eva Abramczyk, Marilyn Adani, Michael and Sari Adikot, George Adler and Agnes Borgi, Gertrude Ansel, Joe Axon, Mark and Ellen Axon, Nancy Badian and Rudy Santana, Jay Bear, Dr. Yoav Barnavan, Marsha Bell, Gittel Bernstein, Lee and Ellie Bernstein, and Richard and Frances Bernstein. So we rise as we turn in our Machsarim, in our high holiday prayer books, to page 76. Avinu Malkeinu, ein lanu melech ela ata.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, you alone are our sovereign.
Avinu Malkeinu, lamancha rechem aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, for your sake, show us mercy.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh imanu lama'an shmecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name.
Avinu Malkeinu, shalach refuah shlema lechulei amecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, bring healing and wholeness to the ill among us.
Avinu Malkeinu, kra ro'ah gezar dinenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, allay the harshness of the decree against us.
Avinu Malkeinu, katvenu b'sefer geula vishua.
Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of redemption and renewal.
Avinu Malkeinu, zachrenu bezichron tov lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, remember our goodness and call it to mind.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh lemancha v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake and save us.
Avinu Malkeinu, shma kolenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice.
Avinu Malkeinu, chatanu lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu, chamol aleinu v'alol aleinu v'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families.
Avinu Malkeinu, kalei dever v'cherev v'ra'av me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger.
Avinu Malkeinu, kalei kol tsar u'mastin me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror.
Avinu Malkeinu, kadvenu v'sefer chayim tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived.
Avinu Malkeinu, chadesh aleinu shana tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu, chanenu v'anenu ki ein banu ma'asim, aseh emanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love. Avinu Malkeinu, Vanenu Vanenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Vanenu Vanenu. Ki ein banu ma'asim. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Vanenu Vanenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Vanenu Vanenu. Ki ein banu ma'asim. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu.
Please be seated. What a difference a year makes. You know, last year at this time, hundreds of us gathered here in this sanctuary for the high holidays. We had off-duty police officers directing traffic in our parking lot because we had so many people coming here. Ushers were busy showing people to their seats. And what did we do last year when we got together? What did we do when we ushered in 5780? We prayed to be inscribed for a healthy, prosperous, and peaceful new year. Well, 5780, 2020, turned out to be anything but that. Tonight, I, Cantor Manny, and a handful of lay leaders and staff members are looking out at an empty sanctuary while hundreds of you are joining us online. Last year, we couldn't even have imagined this scenario. Who would have thought this? Who would have come up with this scene? In January of this year, there was a single case of one person out on the West Coast reported to have contracted the COVID-19 virus. We didn't give it a lot of thought. We heard that there was something happening in China. There was only one person in America who had any symptoms. He had some flu-like symptoms. He got better, seemingly without any long
long-term effects. Well, a few days later, there was an outbreak in a nursing home in Seattle, Washington. Dozens of elderly people contracted the virus, and many of them died. And we knew that something was happening. By March, hundreds of thousands of people around our country were infected. And by March, early March, several thousand people had already died. On March 14th, we closed our temple building to in-person events. Services and other programs went online. Bar and bat mitzvahs and weddings and other events were rescheduled or they were canceled altogether. We had to close our preschool. As we begin our high holiday observance this year, we mourn. We mourn for the deaths of almost 200,000 of our fellow citizens, people who had died, fellow Americans, who've died from this insidious disease. The COVID-19 virus hit synagogues around the country with unusual ferocity. Tens of thousands of Jewish people have been infected with this disease. Many have died. The resulting economic stress was just too much to bear for many congregations around this country that have had to close their doors, and many of them will never open their doors again. And this has happened just when they were most needed. Just when we were in the greatest need for spiritual encouragement and uplift. Now, Temple Bethel was not immune to these developments. Not at all. Many in our extended family have suffered because of this pandemic. We all know people who have tested positive for the virus. Some of us have lost loved ones. All of us have endured the effects of having our regular routines disrupted. All of us have felt the strain, to some extent, of social isolation. Many of our temple members have been adversely affected economically because of this pandemic. Yet, with all these challenges, Temple Bethel has remained a beacon of light, of encouragement, and joy even. In the midst of all of this darkness, we have been a beacon of light. We have pulled together as one loving, caring family. We haven't just made hundreds of calls to each other. I dare say thousands of calls have transpired among us. We've looked out for each other. We have been there for each other. We have pulled together as one loving, caring family. And I'm so proud of this congregation because of that. Fortunately, Temple Bethel was ahead of the curve, so to speak, when it came to social media technology. Because of our state-of-the-art streaming capability, we have not missed a single Shabbos evening or morning service this year. Because of Dr. Barry Kaplowitz's original investment in our streaming technology in 2007. We were the first congregation in Florida to live stream its services.
And thanks to Judy and Carrie Lebensberger's sponsorship of our broadcasts during the last several years, and because of Dr. Roy and Nan Ann's generous contribution to upgrade our technology. You know, Roy came to us, I think it was in November, maybe a little earlier that, and he said, listen, you got to update your equipment. And he gave us a very generous contribution. And so it took a lot of work. You know, we got it done. We installed the state-of-the-art equipment just days before we had it closed down. We haven't missed a step. Our sisterhood, our brotherhood, the women's spirituality group, all of these groups continue to get together on Zoom. We have daily meditations at 9:30 a.m. Cantor Manny holds his everything you ever wanted to know about Judaism classes every Thursday. Yeah. I know it was supposed to sort of come to an end, but it was so popular and people were enjoying it so much that you kept going. Yep. Way to go. We have yoga here. We have all sorts of services, all sorts of programs. I lead a Sedra of the Week a discussion every Shabbos morning. And Rachel Kaplan, our marketing director, and Rachel, you are also our tech maven. You have connected our streaming technology with Facebook and Zoom, and you've created a YouTube station for us. So, you know, just think of this. You know, when we broadcast a service, it goes out on 4 media. Can you imagine such a thing? Simultaneously. So we're just growing all of the time. We're learning new technologies, new ways of connecting with each other. Incidentally, Rachel hosts a talk show every Tuesday morning, and she interviews people from all over the country who are doing interesting things from a Jewish perspective. Now, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say thousands of people. That's right, not just hundreds, but thousands of people around the United States and Canada, and we don't know, maybe people in other parts of the world as well, but we know that thousands of people around the United States and Canada have benefited because of our online services, have been brought into our temple family. We are stronger and more united as a congregation than we've ever been. We are touching more lives, we're touching more hearts than ever before. But even so, the last few months have not been easy for our beloved Temple Bethel. We've had to tighten our belts. We've had to make some difficult decisions. We're not out of the woods yet. Even though I don't understand how this happened, even though we're actually growing a little bit. You know, we're actually, I think we're up about 10 families over last year. Just holding our own would have been a great victory. But we're actually okay. But it's not easy. It's likely that the COVID-19 virus will be around for some time to come. It's unlikely that our preschool, which is a major revenue source for the temple, will be operating at its pre-coronavirus capacity for some time to come. Because our high holiday services are online this year, open to everyone in the world. You know, I just want to say something. The first year that we streamed our services, we had 5,000 hits from all over the world. We had service people in the U.S. military in Saudi Arabia watching. We had 5 Jewish households in eastern Hungary, on the Hungarian-Romanian border. How they found us, I'll never know. It's free. It's a mitzvah. Jews anywhere in the world can watch, but we don't charge. We're not charging. Anybody can participate. We can't sell high holiday tickets to non-members this year, and I can't make a high holiday appeal in person this year. You know, your contribution this year, your contribution to our high holiday appeal is more important than it's ever been. We need your support. In a letter that I sent out to the congregation several weeks ago, I stated that we needed to raise about $100,000 in order to make ends meet, to cover our deficit. Now, to be honest with you, I don't know whether that's possible at this time when so many of you are facing financial insecurity. I know some of you have been incredibly generous already, but a lot of people are hurting. So I'm changing my goal. I'm not reaching for $100,000. What I'm reaching for now is 100% participation. Everyone, just give what you can. If you've been blessed this year, if you have more than you need, please reach a little deeper into your pockets. If you just have a little bit, and it doesn't matter, every contribution that comes from the heart makes a difference. And every contribution, no matter how modest, will make a difference. Now, I know there are many of you who are watching this service from a great geographical distance from us. We've had people, non-members in the far west, in various parts of the United States, who are not members of this congregation. And yet, if you're watching tonight and you're not officially a member of this congregation, guess what? You are a member of our extended temple family. And I would ask you, as I would ask for the people, the members who are actually on our roster, to do a little something for us. You know, right on our website, you can scroll down to where it says the High Holiday Appeal. Would you do that? Would you do that and do whatever you can? And I promise you, you will feel very good doing it. I promise you. Oh, I have a sign here. What does that say? JLC. Yes. I promise you, you will feel good knowing that you are standing by your temple which has stood by you for all of these years and will continue to stand by you and to bring you that spiritual uplift that we all need during these tough times. So L'Shana Tova. Now, the JLC. Okay, no, that's fine. Good. Well, yes, I could have mentioned that, our JLC, Barbara Bell Siegel has been actually having classes online. Yes, so we haven't missed a step, not at all. And now we turn to page 82 for the Aleinu, and I have some people that I'm going to honor. Now, as I said before, we like to call people for honors on the high holidays. So in honor of the following people, we will be opening the Ark for the Aleinu. For Richard and Francis Bernstein, Stanislav Birsch, Harriet B.L., Chris and Rachel Bishop,
Perry Blank, and Gloria Heitner. Cappy Braun, William Brody, Justin and Haley Brooke, Karen Badowski, Dr. Ken and Susan Badowski, Myron and Miette Bernstein, Stephen and Linda Caster, Ermina Causi, Nancy Shamides, Marilyn Cohen, Phyllis Cohen, and Morris and Serena Cook. In your honor, we are opening the Ark for the Aleinu. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עצנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
This Shabbat, we observe the Ortsites of Jack Bernstein, Max Brown, Tony Fieldman, Fanny Furstein, Esther Pauline Fischler, Robert Gaffin, Rebecca Gilman, Joan Goldberg, Helen Goldstein, Thelma Gordon, Marcia Gordon, Jacob Gordon, Marilyn Gorlin, David Gould, Horace Gross, Barry Hilson Roth, Seymour Kaplan, Bessie Kaplan, Edith Kaufman, Norbert Kerner, Adele Koliski, Max Kramer, Benjamin Kurzman, Anna Lieberman, Solomon Lieblich, Stephanie Mashback, Shirley Modiano, Lauren Perlstein, Joan Rodenberg, Norbert Roth, Benjamin Rubin, Ida Samuels, Lillian Sandis, Alan Schwartz, Sidney Silber, Jules Simon, Helen Singer, Joseph Spector, June Wagner, Sidney Walensky, Bess Winton, and Florence Zach. And as always, we remember the 6 million. And we are presently in the Shloshim period for Shaul Habosha, Yehuda Bilu, Steve Prince, Sari Fox, and Rabbi Mark Shapiro. The Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 90. I'm sorry? One more person? Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. We just got word that Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away earlier today. A great, great woman, a great jurist, someone who did so much for women's rights in this country, who pushed the boundaries of what women could accomplish, not just in her own legal profession, but in all professions. It didn't matter whether other jurists on the Supreme Court agreed with her or didn't agree with her. They all respected her for her scholarship and her integrity. She was a remarkable, remarkable person, a remarkable jurist who really added something to the annals of our judicial system, our court system. And we were so proud that she was a daughter of Israel, that is a noble Jewish woman. And we continue now with the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma devarach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayichon u'v'yomichon u'v'chayedecha beit Yisrael, b'galav yizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'le'mei Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu le'olam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yalma v'imromen Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imromen Osei shalom v'imromav hu ya'asei shalom Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. And please be seated. And Scott, once more, I call on you this time to make some announcements.
Just going on the coattails of Rabbi's part of how this temple keeps moving. Just a reminder that all high holiday services are available on live stream, Facebook Live, and new, we're on YouTube Live. And I think we're in TV Guide. So tomorrow, 10 a.m., we have Rosh Hashanah morning services. So it starts 10 a.m. You don't have to be here, but just turn us on to the live stream, Facebook Live, or of course YouTube. 2 o'clock, family service, and that's perfect for the little ones, so you can watch with your whole family at that point. 3:30, we have the shofar sounding at South Lake, followed by Tashlich. Masks and distance are required. So South Lake, you'll find parking around the lake, park the car, and bring some of your bread, and it'll be an enjoyable afternoon getting rid of some sins. Sunday at 10 a.m., we have the second day of Rosh Hashanah, and the high holidays continue next weekend, starting with next Sunday at 11 a.m. We have the annual Keva Avot service streamed from our cemetery, and 7:30 p.m., we have Kol Nidre services. Then Monday at 10 o'clock, we have the Yom Kippur morning service, followed by a 2 o'clock family service, and 3:30 the afternoon service. That's Torah, Yitzchak, Milah. This coming week, at Monday, 11 a.m., we still continue with our traditional yoga with Jenna Hoffman. Thursday at 9 a.m., we have a minyan. 6 p.m., everything you always wanted to know about Judaism with Kenta Manny on Zoom. Next Friday at 10 o'clock, we have preschool on Tat Shabbat. And continuing, 7:30, that Friday evening, we have Shabbat services with Rabbi and Kenta Manny. And following that, Tuesday through Friday, we have our morning meditation and intention. And reminder, again, all event details are on Zoom, Facebook, and on weekly trending. So make sure when you get those emails, open up the email from the temple. You'll see what's going on here. Just don't ignore that. Don't forget to subscribe to trending email or the TBE website. Call the office. And then, late breaking news. Temple Bethel's video, wishing everyone Shana Tova from Temple Bethel 5781, went live this afternoon. It can be viewed on our website's live stream page by scrolling down below to the viewing screen, or on our Temple Bethel Facebook page, or on the TBE YouTube channel. So definitely take a look at that. Rachel's done a wonderful job putting that together. You really don't want to miss that. Again, Shana Tova.
Okay. Our final hymn.
Okay, we're going to do Adon Olam, but tonight we're going to do Adon Olam in a new way that you probably never heard. But this is so beautiful, I just wanted to do it tonight. We're going to go to the last verse of Adon Olam. If you're looking at the Hebrew, it starts with Biyado, and the English is the last verse. It means, my soul entrusted to your care, both when I sleep and when I rise. My body, too, will rest in you. I have no fear, for God is mine. And this is a beautiful melody written by Debbie Friedman, who she really changed the way we pray. And she wrote hundreds of songs. I never knew this one until a few weeks ago. The Cantors Assembly group that I belong to, they had it on a video, and I said, I got to do this song. So it's easy to follow along. We're starting at the 4 lines from the bottom in Hebrew, Biyado. Biyado Ahafkid Ruchi Behet Ishan Ve'ayra Ve'him Ruchi Geviati Adonai li Ve'lo hira biyado Ahafkid ruchi behet ishan ve'ayra ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo hira ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo hira Yado Afkid ruchi behet ishan ve'ayra ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira.
We enter the new year with the understanding that we are making a fresh start. We begin by discarding thoughts, attitudes, and habits that are not compatible with an excellent life. We let go of whatever caused past discouragement, disappointment, or disagreement. We know that seemingly negative outcomes are desires or goals that are yet to be fulfilled. We are open and receptive to new ideas, activities, and relationships. Let this year, this new year, be a fresh start for all of us. L'shana tova tikatevu, may you be inscribed in the book of life for happiness, for peace, prosperity, and health. Good Yontif, everyone.
Beautiful.